brand new television program for the New Look Prelude show on ALRA TV, which will be coming out to you every Tuesday evening from 9 p.m. And every Tuesday we will be putting the spotlight on a different topic, and we will be inviting different panelists, an exciting array of panelists to come and join in the discussion. And of course, at home, you can always join in the discussion by sending your texts in, or live, or if you have little thoughts afterwards, you can always send your ideas in. Very much this is going to be an interactive discussion where we're going to dig deep into various topics. And I'm very pleased to introduce my two panelists tonight, Sheikh Tanveer, who needs no introduction, a friend of ALRA TV and has appeared many times on different panels, but making his debut tonight on ALRA TV and on the Prelude show anyway, is Sheikh Imran. Very good evening to you, Sheikh Imran.
Thank you, Reverend Steve.
A few words to introduce yourself, please.
Yes, from the Universal Sufi Order, I am Sheikh Imran. Thank you for inviting me today as a panelist. I'm just like everybody else, just an ordinary person going day by day doing my work. And you've invited me here to discuss a topic, and I think it's best to discuss with somebody who has been through something in life. And I think we'll see how it goes today.
Yes.
Yeah, but thank you very much.
Very much looking forward to this brand new show, a fresh look now that we're having on ALRA TV. Such a variety of programs to share with our viewers. And tonight's topic, I know it's one held very dearly by Sufi Master Yunus Al-Goha, who has travelled far and wide across the planet, delivering lectures, seminars, radio and TV interviews on this very, very topic that's very close to his heart. And this is Sufism, the antidote to extremism. And it's a very, very broad, what a broad subject this is going to be. And I've got a feeling, guys, this is going to be part one of the Spotlight show on the antidote to extremism, being Sufism. I'm pretty sure we're going to go into a couple of parts, because this is a very, very broad discussion.
Yeah, most definitely.
And when we talk about extremism, that word extremism, it's always going to be, whether we admit it or not, you would reluctantly or not adjoin that word with Islam, Islamist extremism, certainly in this era. But this discussion is not going to be focusing on Islam, because extremism raises its ugly head in every corner of society.
Right.
There's extremism informed politically, religiously, racially, a domestic level, right to a worldwide level. We find extremism.
Very true.
So we're really going to dig deep now, this panel, this wonderful panel, and we're really going to, before we talk about the antidote, before we talk about Sufism, we're going to get right to the core of extremism. If you go into extremism, it really it's an intolerance. It's something that's, you have an extreme view that's, let's say, it's outside of the mainstream view.
Yes, yeah.
It's something that's not accepted by society, your view, but you seem, as an extremist, you seem to have a detachment from others with this view.
Yes.
You seem to think of everybody else as a separate entity. It's just you. You have your views. This is the way you want it, and you don't have the consideration of thinking about what other people's views are. If you're hurting somebody else, it just doesn't matter. You're an extremist.
Yeah.
And so we're going to really dig into this, guys. When you think about extremism, what springs to mind?
I mean, first of all, I think if you take out the general media, I mean, they speak about extremism, they label it and attach it with a certain group or so, especially with Islam. But I think we need to overlook those things and find out where um, extremism has, spurred out from. It's not just from a religion point of view. There are different extremist views people hold.
Yes.
It could be politically, it could be religious, it could also be racially oriented as well. People tend to think it's just them on the planet. They would not like to hear what you need to say. And unfortunately, we are all human beings here. We need to share this planet.
Yes.
And if you want to coexist, you need to be tolerant. You need to show, empathy. You need to.
So really, tolerance is the opposite to extremists.
I mean, extremists. I don't know if it's like a brainwash thing where a certain individual, he's very weak-minded. He doesn't want to see anything else other than himself. And when they hold extreme values or thoughts, and I believe so when I speak to certain people, they disregard everything.
Yes.
Your point of view, or if someone's hurt, you probably explain something about them, and they'll say no, doesn't matter. I mean, they have no feeling towards them. So being a human being, you need to have feelings, and when somebody has extreme views about something, I think that's very dangerous. Very dangerous. Doesn't matter who you are, whether you have a religion or whether you are an atheist, because I've noticed atheists as well.
Yes.
They have extreme views against people who are religious. So extremism has different phases. Yeah.
That detachment as well, and that they're not conscious.
Oh,
they're not.
Yeah.
They're not attached with people. They're
not.
They can spout out whatever they want, with no regards to hurting people's feelings.
Not at all. Not at all. I mean, they don't care at all. I mean, they might associate with the like-minded people and form a group, but extremism. I mean, we're dealing with it in this day and age. I don't know if you'd like to shed some point on there.
Let's put the spotlight on extremism.
Gaushai Marhaba, Sufi Master Sayyidi Yunus Al-Gahar, and all our viewers at ALRA TV. Extremism, yes, I agree with, like Sheikh Imran said, that it's not only the religion that causes you to have extremism. Extremism is a kind of thing that you develop very much by way we are brought up, we are raised in a certain type of atmosphere. And we are induced with a philosophy or with a thinking that whatever being given to us, whatever being stuffed in our mind, and whatever we are being taught and trained and given in other forms, that is the right thing.
Yes.
Now the thinking, the attitude that I know the best, I have the best, and the rest are just
nothing at all.
Going something, they are something lower. This is a kind of attitude that we develop over the course of time, unintentionally, unknowingly, and we find ourselves in a zone where we see only ourselves, our thoughts, our thinking, and our beliefs and creed, whatever we are following. So it could be in any field. Like you take example of any professionally in a subject also. Like for example, somebody is a doctor, and he or she consider him or herself as to be the best that I know. But this is a kind of state of the art, position that nowadays we are having. So whether you are in physical sciences, in religion, or in politics, or in sociological fields, or you are in a religion.
Yes. And on a domestic level, which we mentioned before, even on that domestic level, extremism can raise its ugly head. We've had many examples within our own circle.
Exactly.
As soon as you start walking the spiritual path, once you've found your destiny and your character is improving, your life is improving, then you're going to get hostilities. You're going to get somebody who's going to be against what you're doing, regardless of whether it's benefiting you. They don't care. It's not what they want to do. It's not in their mindset. So you're not to do it as well. This is another form of extreme behaviour, isn't it? That's on a domestic level. I mean, it's everywhere, isn't it? As we mentioned, it's most certainly in all of the mainstream religions. All has their element of extremism. We can discuss a bit later. I saw Imran Mati's question, which is wonderful. We're going to discuss that a bit later. We're just going to talk about what extremism first, and then sort of the symptoms. We're first going to sort of get to the analysis first of what it is. It's in forms of religions. Politically, obviously, we've seen extreme forms of politics, especially in the last 10 years. A big rise in extreme right-wing and extreme left-wing. And it seems to be whatever organisation people join, they seem to do things to an extreme level now. I noticed before when we spoke about, okay, let's take an example of environmental issues, because we can talk about that, about Sufism as well. Environmental issues. Years ago, they used to be called environmental activists, Greenpeace. They used to be very passive and, share their thoughts and their concerns through legal means. And now you have other ones coming through Extinction Rebellion. Very extreme form of activity, where they actually bring cities to a standstill. They don't care if people can't get to their
physical level. On a physical level.
They can't get to their workplace. They can't go through their everyday life. They just want to do what they want to do.
Disrupting everyone's life, basically, in a way. You're right. About 10 to 15 years ago, it was a bit different. People will seem to go in a different light, and maybe moderation would be, I would say. But now you're right. Even as you said, environmentalists, they'll take it on hands with everything that they want to do. They become like outlaws. That's what I see people as, outlaws sometimes. Extreme. They go into extreme. No matter which riots you see, everyone seems to go extreme, and you don't understand what point they're trying to bring across. All you see is just violence. And this extreme views, they need to diminish, because it's not helping the society or humanity in whole. And is there anything that you'd like to say?
Like in environmental issues also, like everybody, you see, the way these people came to demonstrate their protest, just want to come in limelight and make people aware of the gravity of the situation. The delicacy of the matter.
There are obviously important concerns to them, but other people have important things to do as well. They have their lives to lead.
But you see, when they say plainly their voice is not heard, so obviously they think of doing it otherwise. Otherwise. So it is also, partly people are also responsible. Those who did not give it a due consideration of their call. That yes, what they are calling, like what are they demanding, and what is their motto? Let's have a look at that, and let's have their voice heard. At least they have this right. But if they are kept being neglected time and time again, obviously this will lead to come to a position that where you have no choice other than make your voice heard forcibly or by other means. So this behavior also encourages very much to having go to extremist views or become extremist in that sense.
It's a question where, why is it happening? Why is there you can say globally, why is extremism coming out? And why is this happening? What's causing it? You want to, as you said, dig deep. You want to know the underlying problem. What's causing extremism? So you want to know. So we know we can analyze what the extremist person is, or their views, or what's actually causing it.
Yeah.
So we can maybe go on to that.
Yeah, Imran Bhai's first question was, what causes a certain individual or a group to turn towards extremism? So we've identified the many forms of extremism. There's much more than we've mentioned, but just to clarify that there are many. It's not just one religion or all religions. It's massive. It's a massive problem.
Or non-religious as well.
And mostly what I have, like, for instance, we have the example of China. Let's say China.
Yeah.
China is being ruled by, Marxism. They believe communism.
Yes.
Their communist party, the ruling party, allows you to have your freedom, whatever you want to, the way you want to enjoy your life, be it economically, politically, and anyway. But any views or any movement that is, posing a threat to their rule, the Communist Party rule, they are not going to tolerate that. Now, see, on the other hand, China has suffered also. Like, before coming this Communist Party into rule, before Mao Zedong, China was, was already sunk in poverty. And now China, in last 30 years, in 3 decades, they have taken more than 30 million people out of poverty. So they say, and they believe, and they also demonstrate that, yes, by bringing Communist Party into rule, we have progressed. Now China is progressing, and China is a leading economy in the world. So these socio-political conditions also are very responsible. Take example of Saudi Arabia. Saudis people, and also in UAE, United Arab Emirates, you go to Dubai, you enjoy everything, you do business there, you play sports there, or you go to holiday, you can do everything that you like, being in certain limits, but they will not allow you to have their rights that their native citizens have. So this is their kind of thinking, and they feel threatened that if we allow people to have their rights here, or to have their property here, and other rights like native do, so they feel threatened by that. So these are the things. I think that it is mostly motivated by political, economical, and social conditions.
Yes.
And religions also sometimes used as a political force.
Right, and as on an individual level, because that's great that you've actually identified individual or group. On an individual level, ignorance has got a lot to do with people that adopt extremism. They haven't got the right information.
That's true.
Yes.
They're ignorant of a situation, and they form this extreme view against somebody. And definitely, as we learned in the Western Sufi course, it's a lot to do with compassion, empathy, isn't it?
Yes, yeah.
I mean, that people don't even have sympathy for anybody. Never mind
Forget empathy.
empathy. It's not there, is it? They just don't see others as an equal person with feelings, and they're just considering their own feelings with this extreme behavior.
No consideration to human beings, basically. They don't regard a human being a human being.
Yeah.
But the thing is, you pointed out ignorance very rightly, but ignorance can't be countered with literacy. You see, illiteracy can be countered with literacy.
Right.
But we see literate people, educated people are involved in white-collar crime. They do not appear on surface. They do not. Behind the scene, they are the people who are actually movers and shakers of society, and they make fortune out of their business, and people are suffering. Those who are even working, laboring, and even then they are suffering. In countries, like in poor countries, we can see that only a few families are very well off, are very rich, and they are, in fact, they are ruling there. And the rest of the millions of the people are suffering.
Yes.
They are starving even. So these are the things that we need to keep in our mind, that how to tackle ignorance. Let's like the empathy. Obviously, the element of empathy can't be put. It is not something that is lying outside and we can, instill or put in someone. No, obviously it has to be brought. So people need to understand that through the physical education, people are going to university and colleges, and they are become educated. They are becoming professionally excellent people. They are serving in different departments.
Yeah.
And physically, we see country is developing. Their life standard is raising,
Yes.
and the quality of life is improving. But morally, human society is suffering. Morally, we are not helping, caring for each other. We are not loving to each other, and we don't care for as a whole. We do not care for others also. So these are the things that we need to ponder. That where are we
Where
mistaking?
where are we going
Where
wrong,
are
basically?
or what element is missing
Right.
in our education? That is that despite being PhD or masters in different subjects, we are still morally getting down and down.
And what is drawing us? I mean, it's
Yes.
obviously these are all negative
Yes.
behaviours,
Yes.
and what's drawing us towards that
Yes.
negative behaviour, and that we're not conscious of it. That we're
Yes.
just led along with the herd in many ways, and join these groups.
Yeah.
And
Without thinking.
Without thinking, and it's really a serious matter.
Serious matter.
A
of
very
course.
serious matter.
With
course.
extreme views, people have extreme views. I mean, we want to know what causes it and how it's becoming mainstream, the extreme views where everybody wants to display it and getting away with what they want to do. But what we want to know is basically someone has views and the extremists, whatever they want to do. Do they not think what I'm saying or doing is wrong? Morally speaking, don't they ever think, do they even stop? They say, is this right or is it wrong? Why am I like this? Is this a bad character or a good character? Am I causing anybody harm? This is where the most important bit is. If you're extremist, you can be extremist in your views, but if you don't display or act on it, all right, fine, you're entitled to it. But is it causing harm to the mainstream society or the humanity? The main thing is humanity. And if extremist views are acted out and it's causing harm to humanity, then I think we need to do something about it, and we need an antidote for that.
Yes, we certainly do.
Because education at university doesn't really teach humanity.
Of course.
Okay,
Of
so
course.
we need an antidote. So
We have social subjects, social sciences,
yeah, but not in
sociology and other subjects also.
Yes.
But these subjects and excellence, even we are progressing in these subjects, but it is not helping. It is not helping.
These
us
aren't
out.
going to soften the heart. These aren't going to.
Yeah, I mean,
No, the element of flexibility that we need to have to coexist and to listen to each other and
Yeah.
try to get to the point what
tolerant as well.
what my other friend is making to me. Let's consider it.
yeah,
We are not saying that you just leave your thoughts. No, just quit what you believe. No, at least listen to others and give it a due consideration,
Yes.
so that that person may not complain that you didn't even hear me and you just passed a judgment and you just came to a conclusion. So this element of flexibility is missing. The forbearance, the patience that we need to have, this element is missing. So that we need to understand and we need to ponder that despite our copious practice of religion and religious education, you take any example of any religion like Judaism, Christianity, Islam, Hinduism, Sikhism, Buddhism, everyone is, millions of people are on daily basis, they are engaged in, dispensing in and receiving this education. But why human society on the whole is suffering? Why injustice and lack of peace and cruelty is on the rise?
humanity is destroying themselves.
Yes. So
And we need
this
an
is the
antidote
thing
for this
that
one.
obviously there is an important element which we are missing, and that is causing the whole this disturbance and a lot of this destruction that we are heading towards.
Yes, no, absolutely. And if you want to discuss, we can, before we talk about even religions, we can talk about politics. That ignorance when it comes to extremism is being given the wrong information. It's very much blameworthy as well. That's happened a lot in extreme politics. It's because of such and such that this is happening.
Yeah.
There's no jobs because of immigration. There's no, and people get on board that, okay, that's why I haven't got a job. They've told me that it's because of these immigrants.
Yeah.
Then they all come together, and you have that ignorance that no, this is not the reason. It's a very low percentage. If you dig deep, it's a low percentage of immigrants that are actually unemployed.
Yeah.
And you have to educate yourself. You have to have education first, some awareness,
of course,
before you jump the bandwagon. And that's as far as politics is concerned. Religion, you could say that misinterpretation, isn't it? We've heard many times Sufi Master has explained the misinterpretation of the books, twisting the books, being the books being taught by a person who's not ordained by God, who has not got the true understanding of the Gospels, and it's being misinterpreted. It's being
manipulated for the mass humanity, for their own interest, basically. What they want, their dilemma, their interest, and wealth, maybe, and even power. So they're using, whether it's religion or non-religion, but they're using misinterpreting and obviously not guiding people the right way and not doing the right thing. Morally speaking, nobody really cares. But I think humanity in whole needs to put a step on a break and say, look, let's think of this. This is not right. We all want something good in life. We all want to do something right in life.
Yes.
But in actual fact, our actions are complete opposite. We're harming people, and humanity is not about harming. It's about love and peace and living together and being tolerant. And it's not just about words and saying this is what we need. We need to act on it. And how we can do that is where we need to move on to.
Yeah, so we've discussed as well. Life choice is another point that I thought of today when I was thinking about these different forms, political, religion, racial, but as people are intolerant of people's life choice.
Yes.
So if you think about this consideration, this feeling detached from reality, really detached from others, and not being considerate and compassion for others.
Yes.
And these are all these attributes, all these changes and transformation in your character can all be done through Sufism.
Exactly.
That is the antidote to this poison. The poison of intolerance can be changed to tolerance, because this is what it's about, isn't it? Transformation of character. This is Sufism.
Yeah.
And obviously these characters, these extreme people, we can nip it in the bud. We can, the ones that are already way gone down the line is going to be a difficult situation.
Yes.
But the youth and the people that are now learning either by politics, religion, or through their life choices, if they're shown the true path, especially like through religions, if you have a properly informed instructor that's ordained by God, a spiritual master, a true spiritual master, and once you learn the true interpretations of the religion, then they're not going to tell you to act in these extreme ways.
I think what you need to understand is that it's not just religion. There's a humanity who has, apostasy. They've left religion. There are people who don't believe in religion or God. And how can you counteract that? I mean, their negative thoughts and their negative behavior, their negative character.
Right.
Because you see, like attracts like. And obviously, if there's somebody protesting for peace for Islam, and there'll be somebody who's saying, no, we go against Islam, that's like for like. They both have hatred inside them. So you need to bring that negative entity or something that's inside or is actually causing you, which is the main, we want to get to the bud, as you said, nip the bud. So how do we eradicate that negativity? That's the main thing. This is where we need the antidote.
Yes.
Practically speaking, we can say in words, don't do this, but inside you, there's something that is always telling you to do the wrong thing. Do it, do it, do it. How do we cancel that? How do we stop it from actually getting you to perform and that negative thought that is in your head, from acting? Keep it inside you, but from stopping you from doing something. How can you do it? So the antidote is spirituality. Sufism comes in. It's all about, because you see, you're a human being. What makes us human beings are not only our feelings, it's the spirituality that's inside our body.
Yes.
We're compound creatures, and we need to understand ourselves first, and to understand where is our life going, and how can we better ourselves and better the humanity and society in general. So we need the antidote, and no one has it apart from, and we know it all, as we all know, from our grand Sufi master Yunus al-Gohar. He has the answers, and I'm telling you, if you are watching live, and if you maybe in the future, if you ever come across the videos and think about it, just stop there and watch it and think about what people are saying. What is this negativity that's causing us? How can we stop it? You should look at yourself in the mirror and say, there is, I got to believe in myself. There's something inside me that's making or causing me to do something. Why are there suicides? Why are people committing suicide? There's something inside them that's telling them to commit it. How can we eradicate that? How can we stop that? And spirituality and Sufism is the way. And
Yes.
If you learn spirituality, you'll be able to kind of cleanse away the negativity inside you that's always telling you to do the wrong thing, do the wrong thing. Two wrongs don't make a right.
Absolutely.
So
So the answer to, we were building up, we were getting to the depths, talking about extremism, talking about the type of behavior extremism and why people adopt that extremism, and now we're starting to discuss the antidote to that extreme behavior, which is found in the universal Sufi order, found in the teachings of our universal Sufi master, Goa Shahi. This is the only place we're going to find it. This is the only university where the answer to there's a lot of hard work being done. There's no doubt about it. We can't dismiss hard work that's being done around the world, that people are trying. But there's the missing jigsaw puzzle, which if they look to Sufism, if they look to this enlightenment, because once the heart's been enlightened, once you feel connected to divine, you feel connected to the Creator, and you start to then, obviously, then the compassion that we were discussing earlier, empathy, true compassion comes when you feel connected to others that are that are from the same source, from the same God. That's the only way we're going to feel this compassion for people.
Acting negatively won't get you anywhere, but you need to, no one teaches you to be good as well.
Yeah, right.
Being bad or doing the wrong thing is an internal thing. It's like built inside you. You need to learn how you can become good. How can you have a good character inside you? How can you be divine or be like God, Or if you don't know what God is or who God is, try to learn and find out, search.
Because most definitely you can't learn everything, and you can't have knowledge or experience of everything. Would you agree with that? It's impossible in your life that you can experience everything.
Everything, no, you can't. No.
You can have knowledge of everything, that you could have empathy for everybody. It's impossible to force yourself to do that. Exactly. This will only come through the heart, through the enlightened heart.
You need supreme, you can say, being, knowledge, and a supreme teacher, somebody who is connected to God.
Yeah.
And that's very important, because if someone's not connected to God and his heart is corrupt, his mind is corrupt, he's going to corrupt you and the rest of your followers. And that's not good for humanity. You need to search inside yourself, search for the right, true guidance from a true master. There's plenty of masters who call themselves masters, but I'm telling you, if you're watching on the World Sufi Order and you're watching our Sufi master, Yunus Al-Gohar. Believe me, you watch them, not only just watch them, interact, speak to them, there's questions, answers. Whatever you want to learn about life or what humanity is and what, if you want to believe in God or not, it's up to you. But learn spirituality and search for yourself, because there's a higher being inside you. And obviously it's been taught by my spiritual master. And because of them, I've managed to enlighten myself. I used to lose my temper all the time. And since I learned spirituality, I've become more tolerant. I can't believe that. I will lose my temper straight away. But since I've been learning spirituality, I'm very calm and collective. So people are thinking, well, you're very patient. How's that possible? You're the same guy. How's that possible? Because there's some divine energy that's entered my heart and it's controlling everything. And it's eradicating and getting rid of that negativity. And I mean, if it works on me, it will work on Brother Tanvir here, and slowly spreads to everybody. And once they start learning, they realize, oh my God, what is this? What is this feeling? It's all about feeling, and not seeing. Seeing is not believing. Feeling is believing.
Yes. Yeah.
One thing that I would like to mention here, like Sufi Master Sayyid Yunus Al-Gohar has reiterated it, maintained it time and time again, that a genuine Sufi cannot be unjust.
Yes.
He cannot be compromising on principles.
Yes.
So one thing, a very big reason that I found myself, a very big reason for people to becoming apostate or becoming, allergic to religions, means they lost their hope in religion. Why? Because, in a monarchical society, where society is being governed by a monarchy, their tyranny and their cruelty got a religious cover. And the clergymen, they provided their cruelty and their tyranny a religious cover. So these oppressed people thought that even religion, which is supposed to have come from God, that discipline is not protecting our rights, is not giving us a prosperous life, then who else is going to bring happiness to us?
True.
So they lost their all hopes. But Sufi, a genuine Sufi, nowadays what we see, we do see people, those who are claiming to be Sufi, but they are just pseudo-claimants, because they themselves are extremists in themselves. And they are, they are a hard heart inside. So obviously these people have just got the label, the teachings or the message that is being given from ALRA TV or from the Universal Sufi Order is to make people judge themselves, become an assessor yourself. But for that, you need to have a criterion upon which you can decide and judge what is right and what is wrong.
Yes.
So first of all, the element of cruelty and the element of kindness, all both coming from inside. Now, one is dominant, and the other time the other is dominant. So why this fluctuation happening? Only Sufism, genuine Sufism, and in genuine spirituality will you come to know that who is motivating these impulses and who is causing this fluctuation of emotion in me. And now what we as a human being, what we need to do, we need to curb that element of negativity that God has placed in a human being as a test, and bring and make the positive element dominant.
Well, I think that's you've just answered Imran Mutti's question: how much is nature of the souls contribute to this? Hateful and lovable souls. So that's answered that question. It's most certainly to do with the souls. If there's more hate, more negativity, then that's right. Going to be your nature.
Yes.
And this cannot be washed away by books or outer worship. This is only be washed away by Sufism.
End of the day, it is our character that counts. It is not my color of skin that counts, whether it is white or black or brown or yellow, any color. But if it is human friendly, then people will love it.
Yes.
We will love this character, not this color. And it is not human friendly, it is being cruel. Obviously, people, are bound to react accordingly, and they will hate this character.
That's wonderful. Well, we've run out of time, I'm afraid, gentlemen. But I did mention earlier that this is going to be part one, because there's so much more to discuss. It's a really broad subject. And I hope you all enjoyed it, and you're going to come back next Tuesday.
I didn't know that we have just
we've enjoyed it so much, and we've run into Nasser Yunus's Pulse show a little bit. So apologies for that. Please join me tomorrow, Wednesday. This is another brand new show premiering tomorrow on ALRA TV, 9 o'clock. And this is going to be called How I Found My Destiny.
Lovely.
And this is going to be a one-to-one. I'm going to have a one-to-one discussion with so many of our interesting members of the Universal Sufi Order, Mehdi Foundation, Messiah Foundation, who've got wonderful stories to tell, a wonderful journey that they took from either childhood, from youth, or from later in their lives, where they found the truth, found their destiny. His Divine Eminence Goa Shahi, and they're going to be sharing that with us, and it's going to be very interesting for us to all know exactly what people have experienced, how it's benefited their lives, what changes they've made, because this is what it's about, isn't it? It's about change, about transformation. If you're adopting a path, a tradition, and you haven't found any change or transformation in your character, then you've wasted your time.
Yeah.
So we're going to hear firsthand how it's improved our lives, how it's transformed our character into a divine character. So that's going to be starting tomorrow, 9 o'clock. Please be prompt, 9 o'clock on the Prelude Show. And this is another new segment, which is going to be How I Found My Destiny. I've got a wonderful guest tomorrow, Farhan Gohar. I'm really happy that he's come in. He's a wonderful guy, and he's got a really great story. You're really going to enjoy his past and also his present. He's a very active member of mission work. Lovely guy he is. We've got a big lineup of guests, all different backgrounds and different, but they're all here under the same umbrella. That's the main thing. It's just how they got here that's different. So thank you very much for joining me, guys. Thank you, Sheikh Tanveer and Sheikh Imran. And we'll see you same time tomorrow, and we'll definitely see you next Tuesday on where we put that spotlight back on this beautiful topic of Sufism, the antidote to extremism. Thank you for watching.